to a new series. A series I'm going to call Weird Coffee Science Stuff. Weird Coffee Science. The idea is this. Over the years, there have been things that I've noticed, things that have bothered me, little ideas that have poked at the back of my brain. And what I want to do with this series is take one of those things and look at it a little bit more closely and see what we can learn. I'll give you an example, which is going to be our first topic. I live in a hard water area, and I've made a lot of coffee with hard water over the years, and I believe that brewing with hard water causes your bloom to be bigger, right? I think harder water blooms more. Now, there's a lot of ways that I could just be wrong on this one, right? Like different coffees, different freshnesses bloom different amounts. Maybe it was just a little idea that was wrong. So I needed to answer this question. So I got one of these, a graduated cylinder. And the idea was pretty simple. I'm going to take 10 grams of coffee. I'm going to add 150 mils of water. I'm going to measure that volume, which will include the bloom. And I'm going to do it with very soft water and then very hard water. And I'm going to see if there's a difference. Let's do that then. I was right. I thought I was right, but I was right. Hard water blooms more than soft water. I don't know why, and my first thought is it's probably linked to calcium. So to rule this out, what seems necessary is comparing maybe similarly hard waters with very different levels of bicarb in them, for example. Not really. So what if hard water blooms more than soft water? I thought about this. What about when you make coffee? If the purpose of the bloom is to get CO2 out. CO2 is a byproduct of the roasting kind of chemistry, what's going on in there as things go brown, and it's trapped inside the coffee, and when you hit it with water in that bloom phase, a lot of the CO2 comes out. And that's good, because that CO2 coming out sort of inhibits water getting at the surface of the ground coffee to do the extraction work. So the whole idea behind blooming is you have this phase where the coffee degasses and blooms, and then you brew it once it's easier to kind of get at. So what if you bloom with hard water, but then brew the rest of the brew with kind of softer, more balanced, kind of ideal brewing water? What happens then? I'll just do that. I'll brew one with soft water, brew one with a hard water bloom, and then a regular soft water brew after that sort of initial phase. All right, let me set that up and tell you about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Now, 4 years ago, when I needed to build a website for the World Atlas of Coffee, I turned to Squarespace. The reason for that is that it made it so easy for me to very quickly put together a beautiful looking website using one of their templates, but my words and my images. Now you can build a website for anything that you want with Squarespace. You can build a shop to sell unlimited amounts of products. You can build a portfolio. You can build a beautiful page for your cafe or business. Now, over the last 4 years, I haven't had to upgrade anything, patch anything, install anything. It's been worry-free, but if I had an issue, there is 24/7 customer support. So if you want to build a website, maybe buy a domain, use the link in my description down below. Use the discount code James Hoffmann to get 10% off any purchases with Squarespace. Let's brew some coffee. So I've got my two brews now. I've got my first brew that was just the soft water, and my second brew, which was the hard water bloom, followed by a soft water brew. Let's have a little taste. This was brewed first, so it is a little bit cooler. They've both been left to cool. Pretty nice. It's got that slightly prickly acidity of maybe not quite enough bicarb in there. It's nice though. Second brew, really quite different. Texturally quite different. Fuller, definitely. Obviously harder water will extract a little bit more, but it often just doesn't taste that good. This does taste like a slightly higher extraction. It tastes fuller, a little richer. I miss a little bit of the acid that's in the first cup, but that's definitely interesting. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's some questionable science. That's a single test. There's a bunch of variables there. What did you really learn? How do you isolate the impact of that harder water on brewing and extraction from the impact on the bloom? This is a good point. These are great questions. This is where I'm hoping I can drag you into this. Because if you can run some tests and share with us your experiments, your results, then I think we could maybe learn something. I think there's definitely something here, and I don't know what it is yet. But all of us brew coffee all the time. Maybe you could brew and do the same thing. Bloom with some harder water, brew with some soft. Switch it up, do different things. I'd love to hear the results of your experiments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this particular experiment. I'd love to hear maybe some ideas about other weird science we can do in the future. I say thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.